You think you want to open or own a barbershop? Then let's have an honest conversation. Now, to this question, knowing now what I know now, I would much rather work in a shop, pay my booth rent, and go on about my business. But I didn't do that. Now, the reason I didn't do that is because the environment that I wanted to work in did not exist, or at least I did not know where it was. So, me and my partner set out to create that environment, and we did just that, and we're happy and proud. But that does not mean that I don't have countless sleepless nights worrying about the bills, worrying about the business, worrying about the economy, and all of the things that I have to factor in on a much greater scale as an owner. But if you want to open up a shop, here's what I suggest you do. Open up whatever search engine you use and search for LoopNet, LoopNet. LoopNet is where most commercial real estate is found. I'm sure there are other platforms. The only one that I've ever ran across, the only one that I've heard other real estate agents talk about is LoopNet. Now, what I would do is type in your zip code of the desired area that you want to work in. That's going to bring up all the stuff within, however many miles that is around that zip code. Now, some pertinent information to understand is it's going to show you cost per square foot. Now, that's going to seem like a crazy high number, but it actually is a little less. It's not as bad as it looks, but it's still bad. For example, my listing when we first opened up, it said $24 a square foot. Now, our unit is 1,750 square feet. That is insane if you do that math. But what you don't understand is that's just an oversimplified way to explain what the actual cost is going to be. So what you do is you take that square footage, you multiply it by the price per square foot, and you're going to get a really big number. You then divide that number by 12 because that's how many months in a year. So that number is actually telling you what the cost per square foot for the year is. Now, to zoom out just a little bit, there's another thing that you have to factor in that you won't know up front, and it's called triple net. Triple net is a catch-all category where the landlord factors in costs and expenses of running the strip mall, like property taxes, which is a huge issue right now. Property taxes is literally putting businesses out of business. It is driving the cost of goods and services, and it is a huge burden that the landlord passes on to the business owners that rent out their space. So triple net also includes the maintenance and upkeep of the property. So the landscaping, the striping of the parking lot, the electricity that it costs to keep the strip mall, visible at night. The marquee that if your strip mall has a marquee where it shows all the businesses in the strip mall, that electricity is being paid for by your triple net. The wastewater and sewer is being paid by your triple net. Some instances, the landlord is paying the property manager or the property management company through triple net. So all of those things can be a factor. Now, before I go any further, I encourage you, don't do what I did. I did not get a real estate agent. I encourage you, don't make the mistake I made. Get a real estate agent, preferably someone that has experience with commercial real estate. But in the state of Texas, commercial real estate and residential real estate have a lot of crossover. So you might be okay with just a quote unquote regular real estate agent, but I would encourage you, get someone that has experience with commercial real estate. Now, one thing that happened in 2020 when we opened was everybody was panicking, businesses were shutting down. People were gun shy. They did not want to open up businesses. So we negotiated relatively favorable terms. So we, in our area, we were only able to negotiate a 5-year deal. It's called a 5 and 5. We got we got a 5-year deal. If we are happy and we want to stay here, we can extend our terms for another 5 years. But our lease is graduated, meaning we got in on a lower rate, but then every year our rent increases by 2% year over year up until 5 years. So our introductory rate was like $20 a square foot. Every year it went up 2%. And I'm just guessing. I can't remember what the original numbers were, but our rent was lower and every year it increased. So we are now at $24 a square foot. But if we extend our lease, we will be locked in at this rate for the next 5 years. The problem is property taxes go up every year, so our triple net will increase. What our landlord is doing is reconciling our triple net. And every landlord does it. I've called around, I've talked to a bunch of different property managers, landlords, and real estate agents. This is par for the course. It happens to everyone. So, but what happens in our situation is they do a reconciliation after they figure out what the property tax percentage is going to be or the property tax rate's going to be. Then they retroactively charge us that difference. So, for example, last month, I got a notice that my rent was going up again. And when we found out how much the rent was going to increase, it was only a couple $100. But the problem is they retroactively charge us for that increase. So while it sucks to pay an additional $200 or $300 more a month for your rent, it sucks even more when you find out that they're retroactively charging you back to the previous January. Not 3 months ago, January, 15 months ago, January of 2024. So now we've got to come out of pocket $4,300 or $4,400 just to get current because of reconciliation of our triple net. So when you were looking for your next location or your first location, figuring out what the cost per square foot is a great start. But also figuring out how many square feet is your unit, figuring out what is the annual increase year over year. When we first got into the game, it was 2%. Now it is standard that it's a 3% increase year over year. In addition to that, you may not ever know what the triple net is until after reconciliation. And all of these things I'm throwing at you probably sound extremely overwhelming, and they are. But if you get yourself a real estate agent that is patient, that is going to work with you and help make sure that you understand what you're up against, you can still go wrong, but you will at least have an advocate that's going to help work you a deal that will be beneficial as it can be for you. Again, over the years, I've made videos about ownership, and I have not painted a pretty picture because this shit sucks. And I want you to understand, this is not for everybody. If you're unhappy at the shop that you're at, find another shop. I am not saying that you can't be successful. I'm not saying you won't be successful. I am telling you that success does not come easy. If you are lucky, if you are fortunate enough to have a full shop where everybody gets along, everybody works well together, the environment is healthy, your clients are happy and they're consistent, and you're in a great location, and all of those things are working for you, I am happy for you and proud of you. But that is not the norm. It takes so much luck. It takes so much of a culmination of great circumstances for these things to go well. It is not in your favor that it will. But again, I am pulling for you. I will do my best to educate you, to make sure that you understand going in what this is going to look like for you, because I didn't know. I had no idea. And all I can do is tell you what I didn't know. But that's just my opinion on the topic. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments, if you agree or disagree, or if I just missed something. If you'd rather be anonymous, please feel free to DM me. Share this video with someone who may benefit from hearing this perspective, or that just may have a difference of opinion. I am Sean Cussa H on all social media. I live stream Thursday through Monday on TikTok, Twitch, Kick, YouTube, and more recently Instagram. I try to post daily, but that can be a challenge from time to time. So please follow me if you find my content of any value. Otherwise, you might not ever see any more of my videos. My location and booking information is on my profile. So if you're looking for a barber in the Houston, Katy, Cypress area, you found me. Outside of that, please let all the buttons, all the things. Have a great week. Thank you for your time.